We're live. Go live. Hello, everybody. Let's see what we're dealing with today. Connie, what did you hear about the Supreme Court?
Oh yeah, we're doing news now.
We're
Look,
live, Connie.
this one was pretty insane. The Supreme Court, New York Times, who is, as we all know, your favorite paper.
Of course
Uh,
it is. I'd bathe in that thing if I could. Jesus, I love it.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
you know
what
the
the
shadow docket, which was like created to allow for the Supreme Court to basically publish opinions without it being like having a full memo. It's like a smaller thing. It's kind of hard to explain, but you know what the shadow docket is, right? It's like the less like it's kind of like the news dump on Friday. You know, like when one of your favorite candidates does a real no no.
Sure,
Um,
sure, sure, sure. Yeah, that's how we bury everything.
yeah, they send out like one paragraph rulings. You know, it's like that kind of deal. Like they're burying something. Well, it turns out that the shadow docket was, according to this report, explicitly created by Chief Justice John Roberts and other Supreme Court justices to try to stifle President Obama's legislative agenda.
You're kidding me. That's wow. When I see John at Chevy Chase Country Club, I always say you walk straight and you talk straight, but you seem like you get down dirty. That is crazy. Where was that? Was that written somewhere?
Yeah, it's like they dropped it. It's that one.
Oh wow, the inside story of 5 days that remained the Supreme Court. I have a fucking paywall. God damn it. This is what happens when you do legacy news. Oh, here we
I would.
go. I love traveling across our great state as we continue this campaign full steam ahead. You've only been across the state in private limousines, but technically, sure. Love you, Babs. Reply. So you mean to tell me that wow, the Supreme Court's really got it in for him. So oh, look at this. Connie, here's your buddy, right? This is your friend, is it not? You and Hassan Piker, aren't you good friends?
Well, I mean, I've listened to his podcast a couple times. I really don't get what Third Way is upset about. He seems fine. Like, you know, maybe I don't agree with him on everything, but he's got a pretty good fashion sense, and I mean, he's a lot of my friends really like him, so I don't know what the big deal is. But oh yeah, wow, okay. Kind of shocked he likes Gretchen Whitmer, but the John Ossoff and AOC picks are pretty solid. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me on Kamala Harris. How do you feel about that, Uncle Connie?
About what?
Hassan's picks, I guess.
Oh well, I think that I'm just going live on our Instagram too. We got a few viewers here. We got 15 viewers. Make sure you go to the Twitch in our bio, kids. You can see what we're talking about. Hassan Piker rates potential 2028 Democratic presidential candidates with yes for Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, maybes for Gretchen Whitmer and John Ossoff, and no's for Kamala Harris and others. What in God's name is he doing giving a maybe to Gretchen Whitmer, hard nose on J.D. Vance, Pete Buttigieg, Rahm Emanuel, Gavin Newsom, Tucker Carlson, and Cory Booker? You know, your mother always told me, Hunter, Connie Smith. Sorry, your mother always told me that she had a rendezvous with you know she always said that she might have had a rendezvous with Tucker Carlson. She wasn't quite sure. It was at a Grateful Dead concert, and back then he was hard to rely on. I'm not convinced that I'm not convinced that you're not possibly Tucker's. That's why I called you Hunter, because that's what Tucker would have wanted to call you. Anyways, I cannot believe that he. What do you think of Tucker? Do you think he's a good candidate for the Democrats?
Um, I mean, I don't think you would like his positions on Israel. It's more you in the but in the exact opposite direction, if you know what I mean.
What positions? I like Israel.
Yeah, that interview with Ted Cruz showed he really doesn't. Now, maybe he doesn't like it for great reasons, but yeah, he's not a big fan of the whole the Gaza thing. He doesn't appear to be a fan of that. He also
Speaking
does.
of fans, well, what? Look at this. Look at this. I want to hear. I want to hear. Let me know if. Okay, that is leadership for you. He understands that the correct position on Gaza is you need to take if there's a 92% and an 8%, um, there's a 92% issue and an 8% issue. You take the 8% and you lead with courage. You know? Don't you think? Connie Jr., Connie the Third? How many are there of you? God.
There were more, but then there was the accident. Um, I don't know. We talk a lot about centrism, right? Like you're always advising people to take the courageous middle, and I'm not really sure 8% is the middle. You know what I mean? Like it seems like compared to the average voter, maybe if like 92% of them think that we should do something, then maybe we're out of touch.
Mm, maybe we're out of touch. Well, I don't think we're out of touch. I mean, do you think we're out of touch just because we spent our weekends in Barbados?
I mean, mom always said that, not everyone is blessed enough to have their dad buy 3 buildings of the college that you go to. So, like maybe, I don't know.
Your mother's on it insane. Why don't you tell me? I'm trying to get organized here. I want to make sure that the people from the Instagrams are going on our Twitch to see what we're looking at. You why don't you do you want to drive? Maybe. Do you want to? Well, here we go. Look at this. Look at this.
I wanted to ask you about that race. I was a little bit confused.
Which
We have,
one?
yeah, the Michigan, the Michigan Senate primary,
Oh,
because
don't
there's
even give. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think of Abdul El Sayed?
I mean, he kind of seems like if instead of Bernie Sanders was the guy from I Think You Should Leave reincarnated as Lotus Flower, he's Bernie Sanders as a young, handsome doctor. But I thought your buddy Chuck was a big fan of Haley Stevens, but now it seems like he likes McMorrow more, and I was kind of trying to understand what happened there. I thought a redhead would be too radical for him.
Yeah, just a reminder for everybody on Instagram. Make sure to join us on Twitch. We like the cross pollination. Yeah, let me tell you what happened with let me tell you what happened with that. And this is I mean, this is inside stuff. I don't want to talk about the insides of the Democratic machine chat or conversation. What do they call the little chat box? Is that is that all right? Well, whatever.
Like like
Um
like like just chat? Do you mean like our chat, or do you mean like the secret
yeah,
chat
our
you have
chat,
with all the
chat,
APAC
chat. Is
donors?
there
Do you mean
anybody in
like
here? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so let me tell you what happened with the Haley Stevens, Abdul El Sayed, Mallory McMorrow thing. Mallory McMorrow, she was she is a radical. She is a radical and she had a chance of winning. And so we did everything in our power to make sure that Haley looked like a hero of the people because after all, I mean, if there is anybody who's taking money from all the right people, it is Haley Stevens. She has done everything in her power to be for the people, by the people, of the people. I mean, this is she looks totally natural in this group of people that are not in Washington D.C. Like, wow, look at that. What is this? A thumbs up? An L? I don't know, but she's totally cool. A brick wall? Everybody has brick walls. Anyways, turns out the general voting public did not see eye to eye with us. They did not think that Haley Stevens was the establishment dynamo that we knew she was going to be. Your grandmother. Get back in there, Patty. Sorry. It's a cat. I don't have a wife anymore. Anyways, as soon as we realized that Haley Stevens wasn't viable anymore, we knew we had to pivot to Mallory McMorrow. And, Mallory, we thought she was radical, but she applied for APEC spending. And, we think, okay, well, let's give her a second shot. We got to do ranked choice voting because anything is better than Abdul El Sayed. Do you want Medicare for all, Connie?
I don't think that's ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting is when you rank the candidates in order of preference, and then the one that everyone likes the most gets to win. Um, like it was the thing that Newsom vetoed. You know that one, like where all the California Dems were like, we should do this because we don't want to like risk a weird jungle primary situation where we get a bad candidate. We should rank all of them. And then Newsom vetoed it for some reason. I don't know. He seemed upset about homeless people that day. I couldn't really figure out what was going on.
No, Gavin Newsom's God. He's a dreamboat. I don't know why I'm sure he had a reason for getting rid of ranked choice voting. I guess what I'm talking about is harm reduction voting. I mean, if we were going to rank choice it, we would put Haley Stevens in first, second, and third, and then scuttle the other two candidates. But unfortunately, it's not 1996 anymore. So what we've decided to do is we're throwing all of the establishment's weight behind Mallory McMorrow. We want her in there, and what we're hoping that she'll do is continue to say she doesn't take corporate PAC money, and then once we get her in office, we can, cut and paste and send out some grassroots donation emails, things like that. What do you think? I mean, I think McMorrow, we can work with that. I think Haley Stevens is just, God, she would have been great in Reagan's cabinet. She probably would have been a great, I don't know. I mean, she would have been a great commerce secretary in the 1970s, but I don't know if she's got the juice. Look at this. Jesus, this is a walloping. My God. You know who would win this race, though, Connie?
That's Emerson, man. Emerson, that's
Ralph Waldo Emerson?
I think the college, like the one that's like everyone there is
Emerson. Here we go.
Yeah, like
is this Ralph?
It's the True Liberal Arts College.
Emerson polling. Haley Stevens is the corporate Cinderella. We're putting that slipper on her foot, and she's going to the ball for 6 years. I knew Ralph Waldo Emerson's grandson. He worked for the agency. He was a great guy. When did what happen? Somebody's in our Discord. I don't know if our Discord is receiving this transmission, but I certainly hope so. Oh my God, I want to hear what Harry Enton has to say. Him I like. He talks like a normal person. Connie?
Yeah?
Do you like this young fella, Harry Enton?
I can't say I watch too much cable right now, but I mean, he seems. I don't love his fashion choices there, not gonna lie. I think like a good suit, and people were talking about this on Twitter, like the suit tie combo, sort of leaning back into the old style of credibility, but for like a new wave of progressivism and leftism, seems to really be working. It's kind of hard when it looks like they're dressing down on purpose to seem more relatable. I'm also confused by the blue highlights, but it seems like he's talking about is he citing Cauchy?
Yeah, they have a deal with Cauchy. I set it up. They're one of my clients.
They like the polymarket stuff, like I have a lot of friends, like it's kind of like watching all your friends get addicted to heroin. Like that's kind of what's going on with the with the market betting prop stuff, like it seems like maybe people went a little bit too far with the legalization of it now, because like everyone my age is like going into crippling gambling debt, and like some of my friends had to mortgage their birthday yachts. Like it's a bad situation all around.
They had to mortgage their birthday yachts. Why?
Because of the gambling debts.
Oh, geez,
they spent. Well, they got false insider information about when the when the bombs in Iran were going to drop. They were off by a day, and they lost millions. And then apparently like some of my friends at college, the ones that were on the like the financial aid back before that all got cut, You know, like they also apparently they're not doing too great either, unfortunately. So I'm not sure I love the sighting of the poly market there, just because I don't know if else like wasn't the actual polling saying that Syed was doing better than that and McMorrow was doing worse. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. It ain't like it used to be. I'll tell you that much. I don't know why I can't go live on Instagram, but it's really pissing me off. I mean, this is insane. I don't understand why I can't just get the I have an Instagram professional account. I'm a goddamn professional.
See,
I'm
I thought we were spending. I thought everyone was working on spending a lot of money to make sure that people like Syed and Musab Ali couldn't do those sort of live streams. But I'm kind of confused why it's affecting us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I don't know. Jesus. Why the hell set
Maybe
up?
they're just worried we'd be too convincing. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just keep carrying this broadcast while I try and get us over on Instagram. I think everybody's gonna like us on Instagram. I bought an account with 120,000 followers. So can you kind of carry us through the news of the day while I figure this out?
Yeah. Who'd you buy it from?
Small plates, IG.
Oh, that guy. He made that really funny reel about the ICE agents. You know, he talked
Yeah,
about how
he's a
like the
tool.
day in
He's
the
a
life.
tool, and he's easily corruptible. I hate him, but I needed his followers. Uh, keep talking about the news though. I'm gonna
Well,
do this.
I mean, you have the McMorrow Syed Stevens thing up. I was seeing a pretty good breakdown about how, in some sense, almost every major primary we're facing right now is like Bernie versus Warren versus Biden. Like how, in like Illinois District 9, Laura Fine was kind of like Joe Biden, and because she was the most moderate of all of them, even though in some ways she was kind of progressive, in other ways she was like she really, really, really liked Israel in a way that was frankly a little bit like disturbing. It was kind of like a fetish object for her. And then like Daniel Biss was very like Elizabeth Warren, like kind of progressive, but not all the way progressive. Like we should tax the rich more, but not enough where they can't buy NASA anymore. Just that they have to pick between buying NASA and buying some extra luxury properties in Manhattan. And then you have
Hmm.
Katabu Gazale, who is full riding with the hardcore leftism, the Medicare for all, the abolishing ICE, the no offensive or defensive funding for Israel, like even more progressive than Bernie in some ways. And Warren won, in some sense, the Warren won that race with Daniel Biss, but we're sort of seeing that again because like El Sayed is like, I'm like Bernie, but I'm a young hot doctor, and then Rachel McMorrow is kind of like Elizabeth Warren because she won't go as far to the left as he'll go, and she's more favorable to like establishment people like like you, but she's also still
Mm.
more progressive than who used to be in that seat. And then you have Haley Stevens, who's like, oh, golly gee, I just love manufacturing. Look at me. I'm a normal person. Definitely. I know how to do thumbs up. I know how to stand next to a brick wall. I know what normal people sound like and talk to. Pay no attention to the completely empty audience at the speaking tours I'm giving. So like you kind of have all three of those, and it seems like at the end of the day, it's kind of like most of the fights are becoming between Warren and Bernie, and that's kind of concerning. You know what I mean? Like for some people, if you're more of like a Biden type, and I almost feel bad about this because like Biden, if Biden was pretty progressive for a Biden, like metaphorically speaking, but it seems like the people aren't really into the institutional status quo anymore, and
I don't know
even
why
the
not. We're live on Instagram now. Thank God that stupid hack Small Plates figured it out. I don't know why people are against the status quo. God damn it, Connie. I do gotta say though, you are one talented fella. I mean, that was a hell of a breakdown. I thought you were gonna be a jet ski maintenance manager for the rest of your life, but I mean you have really figured it out. I mean you have really figured out a way to communicate, despite the fact that your mother raised you to be a leech on your trust fund.
I, I
Leech.
I tried the jet ski thing, but it turns out that they're hard, and after a couple of explosions, I kind of want to keep my remaining toes.
You know what? Not everybody's supposed to play wizard chess on a jet ski like your grandfather. Okay, it was fantastic.
I thought it was Quidditch.
No, we've done that too. But I only do that with Peter Thiel. I only do
How
that
did
with Peter Thiel with our shirts off, and only I get to see Peter with his shirt off because I am the one that makes sure that he gets to run both JD Vance and Hakeem Jeffries at the same time.
I
God.
thought Peter Thiel had like a boyfriend. Am I wrong? I might be out of date on this. Maybe they
Yeah, of
broke
course
up.
he's got a boyfriend, but that's a dangerous job. We're gonna try and get him on the Dirty Jobs show because everybody knows that Peter Thiel and his boyfriends are not always let's just put it this way. Well, never mind. I don't want to get into it. There's an
Yeah.
NDA somewhere with my name on
Uh,
it. Let's hear what Harry
Hey,
Anton has to say. Go ahead.
look. Ever since Peter Thiel came to the house, like my camera lights keep flashing a lot more, like the green one. I don't. Do you think that's related?
Yeah, I mean it could no, it's not related. I just have somebody keeping an eye on you. Hey, I just want to say hi to the
Oh,
chat. Zaza Car has joined us, or is it Czar? I don't remember. I worked on the Czar's campaign in 16. That one went horrible. I was an intern. They got me out of there pretty quick as soon as well, anyways, you've listened to Sympathy for the Devil. Let's listen to Harry Denton's breakdown. Enton, whatever. This man was raised by somebody at 60 years old. You can tell in the way he talks. Let's listen to what he has to say. Boo.
I can't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear him? Hang on a second. I think that there's something. Let me make sure that we're getting the. Let me make sure. This is. Thank you everybody for your patience here as you know we make everything happen. Visual effects, no. General. How do I get this thing? Let me remove this from the
Yeah.
stage.
Hold
Let
on.
me just.
Press play, and then I'll be able to tell you if 'cause I pulled up the stream. A friend of mine's on, and if you press play, I'll be able to. I'm gonna mute myself, and then I'll let you know if I can hear it.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it, Connie?
No, the audience can't hear it. No.
Son of a bitch. Tell the audience that I'm working on it. I'm an old man here, all right? God. God,
You're
this
doing
is
the
hard.
best you can. You know.
I'm doing the best I can. This is the first time I've done this alone. I usually have your grandmother here helping me. And by your grandmother, I mean the cat, because your actual grandmother left me a long time ago. Oh, I miss her. She was great. So, Connie, do you think, automatically add presented media to stage? Display
Oh,
information.
that's
What's
the
that?
cat. That's the cat who came up with the attack ad against Heater, right?
Yeah, that was the one we tried really hard to screw over Ampa Ghazale. We did everything we could. Uh I just that's why I like McMorrow. I think she's really the like you said, she's like the Daniel Biss of this race. I think that she's really got a deep she's got a deep strain of establishment in her, I was concerned about, she seemed soft on on Gaza, but then I saw that one of her family members was breaking up in encampments. That was great. Oh, that's exactly the kind of thing that we're trying to do. We love the First Amendment as long as it works out in our favor, Like you said yesterday with Musab, right? That was kind of what you said, right?
Oh yeah, that interview was really. I really liked him, but it seemed like you really didn't. He seems super like nice and genuine. You know exactly what we need.
Anybody who comes after a friend of my, he really does not like Bob Menendez. And I really have a problem with that because Bob Menendez is an old friend of mine. You've been to the Menendez family. We did an Easter egg hunt in their backyard and you found $50,000 in bullion. Do you not remember that? That was a great time.
Well, I mean, that was Rob, his dad, right? Like yeah, I remember I went into like one of the office buildings to check, and there was like $486,000 with like a little signed note from Egypt, and I was a little bit confused. It was a lot of money.
That was that was a beautiful afternoon. Uh that was a beautiful afternoon. I remember all of that. Jeez. Good times. I wish I could figure out. Hang on a second. Hey, Connie Jr., can you just I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the CNN for you, and I kind of want you to just get your takes real quick on what's on their homepage. Can you see the CNN? You can see it. Good.
Yeah, it says there's a legal term agreement that you sell your soul to. You know that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was the one who ushered that into existence.
You wrote
Why
that?
don't you go? Can you tell the audience what the hell the Strait of Hormuz is?
That's sort of the a really important shipping lane for global commerce, and because our so-called president decided to attempt to bomb Iran into oblivion, it turns out that Iran being willing to play with free trade was sort of a load-bearing requirement for global free trade to continue. And now we have a bit of a problem as the both Iran and the U.S. are attempting to impose restrictions and blockades in the Strait of Hormuz. I think China had a oil tanker that just went by a U.S. blockade the other day. So, we're not doing a great job. Turns out the Secretary of War Crimes isn't exactly good at running a tariff operation, or not a tariff operation, but running like a modern day mercantilist operation. But nonetheless, yeah, it seems like oil is going to keep getting more expensive for a while. You know what I mean? I don't think that's. I thought we were trying to make things more affordable. Even on the centrist wing of the party.
No, we're not. We're not actually trying to make things more affordable. If we did that, we would be in trouble. I mean, the only way to make things more affordable is to screw over some of our highest donors. Who wants to do that? Didn't I raise you better than that? How much Johnson and Johnson stock do you have, young man? Ooh, ooh, my favorite. Hang on. Let's see if your friend can hear this.
There was some people, not all people, not even most people. Some people said, well, I don't like her. I don't agree with everything she says. I saw it with Kamala Harris. There were too many people that say, I don't agree with her on everything. I mean, 90 out of 100, I agree with her, but those 10, I can't do it. Well, you disagree with her on 10% of her views, but you let someone get in office who you disagree with on everything. You let somebody get in office who is locking up our children.
Now, I just want to make one thing clear here. They're locking up children, but Corey, Hakeem, everybody, we have a strong relationship with Palantir. So we know that people want to abolish ICE. But what I want to do is reform them, common sense reform. Let's keep listening. This guy is like the Marlon Brando of politics. Don't you think, Connie? He seems so sincere. Doesn't he seem non-performative?
I mean, he did that really long speech in Congress as like a filibuster, and then I think he wrote a book about it. Maybe I'm not really clear what happened after that.
He went on a book tour. It was great.
Let somebody in office who's
Oops, sorry.
taking away our health care. You let somebody in office who's taking away workers' rights. You let somebody in office who got rid of the Department of Education. Calling it like it is.
Oh God, he was just doing the thing. That was a brilliant oratory strategy. What he just did. He basically said, "Vote blue, no matter who." And if the 10% thing that you disagreed with Kamala Harris on happened to be a war crime in Gaza, this is all your fault. Because the Democratic Party was ready to prepare to ignore that. And the fact that you thought human rights were more important than getting a centrist into the White House instead of Donald Trump, then that's your fault. I mean, we all know Donald Trump is a monster. Just because we have a lot of the same friends doesn't mean we agree with him. But, Connie, do people want us to take I'm going to start calling you Trey because you're Connor Smith the third. So we're going to call you Trey. Okay. Trey,
Like Trace, like
Trey.
Trace
Yeah. It's Trey, like Tray, like how I like a mint julep presented. Listen, Trey, can you explain to the audience why we did nothing wrong by continuing to send weapons and munitions to a country that has violated international law and why that is no reason to get your panties in a tizzy and not vote for a Democrat? Take over the floor.
I'm not sure if I agree with this analysis, but we were at a dinner with, like, with the Schumer and Jeffries and the establishment and a bunch of the big donors, and I forget
Yes,
which
I
one.
love those dinners. I get so
Yeah, and there was something that looked disturbingly like a child in one of the cocktails. I'm frankly, I have some questions, but either way, um, regardless, the pitch that was made to me, and I'm not sure I agree with this, but it was that if we keep on sending weapons and munitions to Israel, eventually they'll solve the problem themselves, and it won't be an electoral weight on us anymore when there's no more Palestinian people to genocide. Because, like, I think the plan is, from their point of view, they're also trying to end the genocide, just like the people on the progressive left are trying to end the genocide. They just have like different priorities on how it's supposed to end. I asked something about how many dead kids was in that calculation, and then they all, I don't know. I don't think they heard me.
Yeah, no, they told you to get your ass back in the dumbwaiter like a cheeseburger because you were being disrespectful. The progressive left wants to protect the sanctity of all human life, and that is why we lose elections. Period. Game over. End of sentence. If you want moral politicians, then I highly recommend you go to the 1940s, 50s, 60s. I mean, they were all pieces of garbage too. But, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Vote blue no matter who. We don't have to put popular candidates up. That's not our job.
So if they ran someone like AOC or like a Mamdani type for president, then you'd be telling everyone to vote for them? Is that kind of the idea?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not tell them to vote for them. I would tell them to vote with their hearts. Because my donors would get on the phone and you know what they would say to me, Trey? They would say, Connie, what the hell are you trying to do wealth distribution for? What is your candidate doing? And you know what? I tried to work with Mamdani. I tried to work with Zohan. I said, Raytheon is going to give you $2 million, not the tax the rich in New York City, and they are going to build a plant that sends munitions to the Middle East. And you know what he said to me? Do you know what he said to me, Trey?
I don't know, but you're sort of dissolving into the wall there.
I know I'm dissolving into the wall. I'm dissolving into the wall like my career is dissolving into the wall because I've spent so much goddamn time fighting Zohan and not fighting Donald Trump.
I think it's Zoran.
Don't mess with the Zoran. But anyways, he wouldn't take my phone calls. He wouldn't take my phone calls. He wouldn't take Chuck's phone calls. He wouldn't take Corey's phone calls. I'd love to see the Israeli policy papers that your campaign privately. God damn it! It said privately. She wasn't supposed to tell anybody she made those papers.
I thought you said those papers were really well written.
Shut up, Trey.
You said they were good. I haven't read them. I have no idea, but like you said, they were pretty good. Wouldn't we want to show like smart policy decisions?
No, we don't want to smart show. We want to win, kind of win. We don't want to win too much. That's why we are going out of our way these days to ensure that we oh geez, Louise, I'm sorry. There we go. That's why we're going out of our way these days to make sure that what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get close enough to win, but not too much. And then we want to win, but not too much. Okay, Connie? We want to win, but we also we want to we want to win too much. We want to keep it respectable, right? It's like I've always told you, people like respect. They don't like winners. They don't like winners too much. You win too much, it's not good. Here, I think I got a new layout for us.
I mean, you're looking at Fetterman, and I saw that the Pennsylvania Working Party, like back in November, said they were going to support like a primary candidate to oust him because they were really upset about his support of genocide and of Trump and how just like after he had the whole, the brain damage, it seems like he got a lot more centrist and conservative, which is, I don't know. Some people were saying that says something about your political ideology, but I think that's really rude. But they're talking about like Summer Lee, which a lot of people really like. She sounds like really progressive and like a good fighter.
Jesus, Summer Lee, God, she
some
is.
people were talking about like Malcolm Kenyatta, who a lot of people felt bad about ignoring him last time because everyone thought Fetterman was this cool working class populist guy, but then he kind of had the whole, the brain damage.
He had a suit. He wore a suit over a hoodie. Is that not working class populism? Is that not good enough for the American people? Just because he got a beeper, a silver beeper from a war criminal, does not make him not working class populist.
I
Just
thought
because
he
he's
really.
taking the 8% side of a 92.8 issue and he is being awarded fetishized electronics equipment by somebody who's been adjudicated to be committing a war crime, Bibi Netanyahu, that does not mean he's a bad guy or a bad candidate. And this Summer Lee, let me tell you something about Summer Lee. She is going to give me a hernia. She is so damn smart and so damn articulate. And I swear to God, every time I'm trying to stay up and write briefs to trying to, she's saying something else that's making me look like an asshole.
I mean, I remember you being really upset about Fetterman's suit back when he was running for office the first time, when everyone was talking about how progressive he seemed like he was, and you were really annoyed at him wearing the fake tuxedo, but I guess we've opened our minds to it now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he opened his mind to us. We gave him a call and we said, hey, if you want to wear t-shirts and jeans, we don't care. All you got to do is do the right thing by our clients, the corporations that represent this country. That's what I keep telling people. The United States of America, it's not Oregon and Iowa and Idaho, okay? It's DuPont Chemical, Amazon. It's Facebook, Meta, Instagram. Those are the states that we live in, okay? And I think we have some pretty good representatives because I don't know about you, but I went to Jeff Bezos's wedding and my God, was that a dynamo experience? Hang on, I'm going to give you all a little peek into my home. I don't want anybody to let's see here, none. There we go. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Jesus?
What's that?
Is that Jesus back there?
That is Jesus. I have a Jesus because I think that the Democratic Party needs to move to the middle, to the right. We need to move right on over past the Bush administration. I think if we become fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Hi, Keys Sandwiches. We are live. It's nice to see you here. Thank you so much for the upward hands and the clap. We're just talking about how the Democratic Party needs to move to the right. Because if there is any chance we have, look at this. Connie, Trey, look at this. I can't keep calling you Connie because then it seems like I'm talking to myself and I don't want to seem like John Fetterman, all right?
I mean, you can also say Connor.
No, I don't want to call you Connor. I married a woman named Connor once. She was beautiful. It broke my heart. 12 hours in Reno. That'll do it to you, kid. Oh, here we go. Track APAC. Wow. This is taking money. Wow. Sorry. When did taking money from super PACs become a crime? That's what I want to know.
I mean, I
when
think
did it become a crime?
I think they made it illegal with Citizens United, which a lot of people seem really, really, really upset about.
Citizens United.
Yeah, the one that said corporations are people and they have unlimited spending rights, basically.
I know what it was. I was in the gallery when they passed it. Me and Roberts were giving each other signals in the booth, steal third base. Come on. Let's steal American democracy and make sure that anybody who wants to can purchase an election. Do you know how good that was for business?
I imagine it had a lot of really large effects on society, but I don't really know enough about it.
No, I'm not talking about society. I'm talking about the effects it had on our family because now I can charge $10,000 an hour directly to Raytheon because that's free speech, baby. Who is Tommy Carr? I have no idea. Oh man, look at this. Oh geez, Kornacki. He's really a lefty yoo-hoo. God, look at this. Look at this. This guy thinks he's playing golf. Rolled up sleeves. What kind of casual shit is this? I'm sorry, Connor. Is there something on your phone that you should be sharing with the group?
I'm trying to figure something out. I saw some big news today, and I was trying to tell you about it, but I don't know how to explain it yet.
Oh, what was the big news? What's it about? Should I just Google it? I have the Google.
Well, you mentioned Mallory Morrow, and there's apparently it's not as big of a race as the U.S. Senate, but the University of Michigan has a big regents race, and there's this. It's kind of become entirely about Israel and Palestine. But there's this guy, Jordan Acker, who I think you had dinner with once. You said he was a really swell, upstanding guy.
Yeah, I
He's
know Jordan. He's
very
a great guy.
pro-Israel. He's received a lot of like criticism for, cracking down on student protesters. I believe the guy running against him is a defense attorney for some of the pro-Palestine protesters. But apparently he was writing some weird sexual stuff about some of the students. And
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm reading it. It's on the screen. The message about the strategist was just one in a series of blank messages about the strategist. One read, she likes, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not going to read that on God. This guy I went to dinner with. I invited him to Chevy Chase Country Club. I invited him. He had dinner with me in Alito.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is it with these guys that wear their sneakers with suits? That is such a red flag. God, I knew it. Him. God, these creeps.
I thought Mallory had endorsed him also.
She did endorse him. God.
Yeah.
God.
Fact,
everything.
I think on your list. Honestly, I don't know for sure.
You know, it's like every time. This is exactly what happens every time I try to go to Chipotle and they tell me there's not a drive-through. I pull up to the side. I tell them to bring the burrito to the window. They won't do it. So I run inside and run really back into my car. I don't like to stop it. I don't like to put the parking brake on. And when I'm done with that, the burrito just explodes all over me. And that's how I feel about these races. I feel like I got a steak burrito with guacamole all over my shirt. Mallory McMorrow, come on. We can't do Oppo on everybody. Why isn't everybody just born like Joe Biden? He was born. He knew he wanted to run for office at 9 months old. And ever since then, he was on the straight and narrow. Why can't we have people like that?
I mean, we have his son, Hunter. Everyone who's ever met him says he's really nice. Even the sex workers from the scandal said he was a really upstanding guy outside of, the drugs and the prostitution. So maybe there's some people, even if they do bad things, there's some good heart in them. But this
hey, you know what? Don't be judging sex workers. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the bad thing that Hunter Biden did is that he got caught. Sorry, I'm. Well, I crack myself up. Sometimes I crack myself up.
There's one of my genders.
Oh, look at here we go. Here's another. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Connor.
You're good. You're good.
Look at Haley Stevens, Jordan Acker, and the Goodman Acker Law Firm have my love and support. Jesus Christ!
Even they're called Goodman. They're called Goodman. How would you know, right, man? They're called Goodman. That's. I get it now, right? Like you would assume if they're called Goodman, they have to be good people, right?
Well, one of my favorite programs is Better Call Saul, and his last name is Goodman, and I wouldn't say he's a good guy. I wouldn't have a law firm named Goodman.
That's fair.
Oh, she was in Sister. I loved her and her sister. They were fantastic. Tia and Tamara Mowry. Great program. Oh, this is insane. Look at this. TMZ. Zohan is still earning royalties from his rap career. Let's take a schmooze, shall we? Let's see what Zoran's doing with his rap career. Shall we? Let's see. I want to see what
Mr.
Mondani's supposed to be he's supposed to be a socialist, right? Yeah, look, I told you he was a liar. How dare he earn money? Ha! He should
wait.
If he's
on.
such a Jesus Christ. Why is she everywhere? God, I can't even.
So you're saying that Mamdani put in a bunch of work as a worker, and then that work went out into the world, and he made money from it directly, right? Like that's kind of the criticism there. He created his own work and he put it out there and he got money from it instead of like having a large company where he underpaid hundreds of thousands of people, and that's sort of the criticism there. It's like that he's a hypocrite because he made money, even if he did it without exploiting people in like the Marxist sense. That's sort of the idea. I'm just trying to understand, man.
When you say it like that, it makes your old man sound horrible. I mean, your grandfather. Jesus. This is the worst. You are the worst unpaid intern I've ever had, and we are blood related.
Well, it's kind of comes with the whole unpaid territory.
Yeah, well, you know what? I wanted you to remember when I asked you if you wanted to do guided swamp boat tours with the Bush family, with Jeb, and you said no, you didn't want to do that. You wanted to hang out with your friends and play Pokemon Go.
I don't know what Swampo is.
You don't know what a swamp boat is? A hovercraft?
I thought you said Swampo. It sounded like a disturbing name for a pervy uncle.
Jesus Christ. You're killing me, kid. Mamdani endorses Lindsey Boylan, putting him at odds with Menine.
Oh, that one. Menine, there was this whole there's been this like proxy battle between Mamdani and Menine, and like Mamdani endorsed that candidate against another candidate who is currently arguing that because he's gay, he should win over her because she's not gay, because this district should be for gay people. It's sort of like a weird like liberal identity politics essentialism, like the notion that like a district has to be given to a specific identity group even when other people representing that district are that identity group, and one of their politics and the politics of the other person is much more representative of the district. It's kind of a bit confusing, you know. I don't fully understand what's going on there, but it seemed it reminded me of when everyone said that the reason why Bernie shouldn't be the Democratic nominee was because he was a man. You know what I mean? It was sort of like the imposition of disingenuous identity politics onto a race by the centrist candidates, which I know is a really popular strategy, from my understanding.
Yeah, I wrote the book on that. That was my idea. I'm the one who said Bernie. No, I didn't care how anybody blamed him, but it worked out. Look, Hillary, that was a win. She won. She just didn't appeal to enough people in the right places. If we had Bernie, he might have won, but we would have lost. Do you understand? That house in St. John's does not pay for itself. I pay for it so that your ex-step grandmother can live in it. Now let's listen to Harry Enton. I can finally hear him.
There we go.
The Iran war has worn on.
As we said, this is a Democratic primary. How might this be emblematic of Democratic positions on Israel writ large?
Okay, so you see Al-Sayed going up, and there's all this discussion. Oh, there's this divide on Israel within the Democratic Party. I'd make the argument there was a divide 4 years ago. I'm not quite sure there's a divide anymore, because just take a look here. Okay, Democrats' net favorability of Israel, not liberal, those who are moderate conservative versus those who are liberal. You go back to 2022, those who are not liberal, slightly more likely to hold a net favorable view of Israel than not. Liberals were against Israel by that point, minus 26 points. Come over to this side of the screen. That divide.
Yeah, we got a fucking problem.
Is simply put gone. There is no divide within the Democratic Party when it comes to views towards Israel. The net favorable rating amongst those who are moderate conservative, not liberal. Look at this, minus 55 points. That's a shift of 58 points in just 4 years' time. Those who are liberal, it's nearly a 50-point shift, minus 74 points. But now moderates and conservatives, as well as liberals, those within the Democratic electorate, are united on their views towards Israel. It is unfavorable at this point.
Does age factor into this?
Does age factor into it? Okay, age was another divide that we saw, but that age divide is breaking down. Look at this. Democrats' net favorability towards Israel. Age 50 plus back in 2022 was plus 10 points. Those under the age of 50, age 18 to 49, minus 25 points. Come over to this side of the screen. Again, these are just dramatic.
Yeah, Chuck, we got a huge
shifts.
fucking problem.
Age 50 plus now, minus 54 points. That's a shift of what, Johnny B? That's a shift of 64 points. 64 points in the negative direction. Under age 50, it's a shift.
I can't take this anymore. God damn it. What do you think? Hey, what do you think that means, Trey? Do you think that Grandpappy's APAC ad didn't play as well as we thought it would?
If anything, it kind of seems like that's the reason why APAC is now switching to accusing left-wingers of being secret conservatives instead of, trying to convince them on the Israel issue, because they're just really losing it really badly. And I know a lot of people have said that they're really put off by a super PAC that is trying to convince people, not by arguing that their position is correct, but by saying false things or putting things out of context of a candidate on completely unrelated issues they don't care about, especially accusing them of being conservative when they also donate to Republicans, which is a little bit confusing.
God damn it, Trey. Don't you know this is politics? If we wouldn't do any of that stuff, this would not be fun. Sure, there are people's lives at stake, but I mean, come on. There are lives at stake every time you play what is that game you like? Call of Civilization? Those are video game lives, but still. Jesus, I can't believe how. Look at this. Look at this.
Shift, and normally this would be a huge shift, but it's 45 points as compared to what, 64 points? But the bottom line is this: the age divide that there was on Israel within the Democratic Party, that has gone again, basically uniformly negative views towards Israel among Democrats, and that in my
the only person who's 18 to 49 whose opinion I care about, and if you're watching this, Sam, I just want to say hello. Sam Bankman-Fried, if you're watching this, as long as you remain my friend, I don't care about any Democrat between the ages of 18 and 49. Sam Bankman-Fried was more than generous with his tech friends with us. His opinion matters to me. Every other young person in this party, including you, Trey, you guys are going to get a 2028 Hillary Clinton if you're not. I know what you think of her. I know what you think of her. I know you don't like her. But she's the only one who can whip this party into shape. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. That is my platform. Let's get Joe back in the sidecar. Let's get Hillary where we need her.
Well, it's just like in retrospect, when you look at like everything that happened with the Monica Lewinsky thing, it's just really, like I feel like at the time, right? Like everyone was like, well, the Republicans were politically persecuting Bill Clinton. And like, yeah, like they definitely didn't care about Lewinsky, but like in retrospect, that was like really bad, man. Like the power dynamics there was like an intern that was barely old enough to vote and the president of the United States. Like I don't know how you could create like a larger power imbalance than what happened there. And like the way that we sort of brushed it off as a society, like I wasn't alive for it, but like that was in your prime, man. And like,
yeah, well, if you're asking me if I'm going to hell, I'm going to hell. That's one of the many things on the list that is going to seal my fate when I meet St. Peter at the pearly gates. But let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure that what do you think your grandfather was doing in the 80s? There's a little thing called Iran-Contra. C-O-N, Contra. Ollie North is a good friend of mine, okay? Contra. That was a consulting job. That was Connie, the consultant. Contra. How do you think it got the name? Jeez. You don't think I know I'm going to hell for the Lewinsky thing? I know it's horrible, but before the internet, no one knew how bad it was. Now it's the internet everywhere. Internet. God.
I mean, she's done a lot of work advocating for people who are bullied on the internet or like survivors of violence. Like she seems like she's a really good. Like honestly,
a good person. That's the problem. That's what happened. There used to be people who believed politicians were good people that didn't hurt other good people, and now everybody is beginning to understand all of these candidates that we like and support are very likely people with personality disorders that are able to compartmentalize the pain and suffering that the causes and interests that they support. They're able to disconnect and divorce the moral implications of the policies they support in order to stay in favor with elite donors, which is part of the game. That's go.
Like that Eric Swalwell guy?
Don't even get me started on that pig. He's a son of a bitch. I wouldn't take him as a client even when he approached. I mean, everybody knew he was a monster. Everybody knew he was a monster, and I won't even work with someone like that. Like I said, sneakers and a suit. That's a dead giveaway. Yeah, the Monica Lewinsky thing, she seems like a lovely person now. I just, it was so much easier to hide that kind of thing. Jesus. Oh, Bill de Blasio. Are we still hearing? Oh, is that Mr. Wonderful? I love that guy. Let's see what he has to say.
Looking for fairness and justice. The wealthy have not been taxed at the level they should have for years and years now. In fact, Donald Trump has given them a massive tax break. So let's be clear. Wealthy folks continue to do better and better and get less and less tax put on them. This is a breath of fresh air, but here's also what it means practically. People invest in New York City because it is a value proposition. It is an amazing city, but it's amazing in large part because the city government provides all those services and makes it a place that works for people. That costs a lot of money. In fact, this is an act of fairness. These are folks, in many cases, extremely rich folks made their money and are parking it in real estate in New York City while they continue to make even more money.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's the American dream. Jeez, as long as you stay away from a divorce, you're sitting pretty, Bill.
It's exactly right to say if you're benefiting from New York City, in fact, they are benefiting from all those services in New York City. They're not paying a lot toward it. Pay your fair share. Your property values are going to continue to go up. It's a fine proposition. And by the way, a lot of people have run away from New York City, but still come back for under 180 days a year so they don't have to pay personal income tax. They're cheating the system, in effect. This is a way.
Oh, cheating the system. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. I thought Mr. Wonderful was going to talk in that clip. There's a reason he's called Mr. Wonderful.
You mean
if you're in the
Kevin
chat
O'Leary?
right now, say hello. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us today. Me and my grandson are trying to spend more time together because I need to convince the court that I'm involved with my family if I'm ever going to get my favorite beach house back in Bermuda. For those of you who are tuning in organically because you found us somewhere on the social media, please be sure to like and follow us so I can tell my client Chuck Schumer that he's a great man, that Chuck. He wants to know exactly how well we're doing with the social medias. Let's see here. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, this is great. Wow. Nice. There's a whole lot of people. We got one person watching on Instagram Live. If you're in the chat, let me know. Yeah, this is good stuff. We're just gonna keep getting bigger, Trey. We're just gonna keep getting bigger. Boom. Boom.
I mean, they always say like that Mamdani was at 1% polling when he was first running for mayor, and now look at him. It could
Do
be
you
like
understand
that,
how
man.
big of a? Do you understand how bad that race was for me? Do you understand how bad it was for me? Your grandfather.
I mean,
Do you understand how bad that was for me?
Was Cuomo really the best option?
Of course he was. Of course he was. He was going to get in there and do nothing, which is what we do. We do nothing. How many times do I got to tell you? Don't rock the boat. Stay under the radar. Always pass the buck. Know where the buck stops. Those are the 3 rules to good progressive politics. Don't do anything. When in doubt, do nothing. That is exactly why Bill Clinton was one of the best presidents of the United States of America, because Bill Clinton understood you got to make everybody happy. And if you make everybody happy, no one's pissed. And if no one's pissed, it means nothing changed. Bada bing, bada boom. That is politics in a nutshell. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I know
Jeez.
there was like the majority Democrats and Liz Smith, Liz Smith was really involved with trying to defend Cuomo from the allegations. And now she's helping that majority Democrats group with like Alyssa Slotkin and other moderate Democrats.
Oh, I love Alyssa Slotkin. Jeez. That's my love language.
Now, what's funny is that like a couple of people who are part of the majority Democrats aren't really that moderate at all, and some of them are actually more progressive or the ones that are getting work done. And I don't think the majority Democrats have really figured that out yet, that people like Spanberger, despite running as a moderate, are now doing like GOP elimination acts every other week, which are pretty progressive and forward policy that outran Kamala Harris in almost every district that's been proposed. So, I don't really know what's going on there,
I hate Abigail Spanberger. She is duplicitous in ways that are not good for the Democratic Party. You run as a progressive and then you become a moderate that does nothing. That is what we have proven time and time again wins elections, so that we can keep it close in the Senate.
So she ran as a moderate and then is governing as a progressive?
She's a radical.
So kind of like that Lyndon B. Johnson guy with like the Civil Rights Act and stuff,
Don't
I know
talk
it was
about
bad at the end there, but like at the beginning, like it seemed like he kind of like did the haha, I'm not actually racist, I just tricked you, and then did a bunch of good stuff for a while. And then the military industrial complex got grips into him.
How did you learn all of this at that boarding school in Helsinki?
I mean, it was Helsinki, man. You sent me to Europe with like socialized medication and education.
Yeah, I yeah. Oh, here we go. Mehdi Hassan misspelled John Ossoff's name. What does that mean? That is anti-Semitic.
I thought you didn't like John Ossoff. He's been talking
I
about
don't like John Ossoff.
class.
I hate Mehdi Hassan. I hate them both.
Oh, so it's like it's like a lesser of two goods.
Just 2
Yeah.
weeks into this war,
Jesus.
the White House told us they'd need $200 billion to fund it. Let me just put that in perspective for you.
You saying more money, or are you agreeing with Ossoff?
Would fund a decade, 10 full years of
We asked for 200. I mean, the White House. They were bad. We asked for $200 billion to help support. I think it was military actions, which our allies love. We love the military. We don't want to be seen as weak on military. We support our troops, just not with veterans benefits. We support the wars they fight, though. Come on, keep up. Let's see what Ossoff has to say. Maybe it's not that bad.
nationwide universal pre-kindergarten. 10
I-
full years of nationwide universal pre-kindergarten.
Son of a bitch.
Instead, a war no one voted for
I voted for
and
it.
no one can explain.
We can explain it. It was
And the daily, the hourly lying to the American public about why we're at war, whether we've
all right. That's just tradition. I mean, come on. You can't get bent out of shape about lying about why we're going to war. Come on. I mean, come
Oh
on.
yeah, you were there for like the Gulf of Tonkin, like the doctrine, right? Like the Gulf of, what was it called? The Gulf of Tonkin? You know what I'm talking
The
about?
Gulf of Tonkin resolution, the domino theory. I was working with Kissinger back then. That was great. He was good times. It was good times.
What was Kissinger doing?
You know, he's setting up my vacation home where none of my ex-wives want that one. He's setting them up. He's setting them up for me. Nice warm climate.
In the
That's why
ninth
I'm-
circle
that's
of
why-
hell?
That's why I wear my vacation shirt on the weekends, because I never know when the Lord is going to take me down to see my old friend Henry. I want to be prepared for my vacation home.
won, what's been agreed to. Not to mention the insane genocidal threats. Let's review the record. On day 10 of the war, the president said, quote, "The war is very complete." That was day 10. That was day 10.
The president's lying. We got a lot of work to do, and the Democratic Party is ready to prepare. The center right of the party is prepared to support him in that.
Then day 11, going to be finished pretty quickly. Day 12, we won. Day 21, getting very close.
Are they laughing because they're happy about the war still going on, right? Right?
I think they think Ossoff's really funny and that Trump's kind of hypocritical.
Well, Trump's hypocritical. Of course he is. He's a monster. That's why we didn't let him into any of our clubs in Manhattan. But you know, he's doing the war that we've wanted to do for like 20 years. We should have just done a combo. We should have done a combo. Iran, Iraq.
Day 32, leaving very soon. Day 40, total and complete victory. Yesterday, day 49, Trump said Iran had opened the strait. Except this morning, the strait was closed and it looks like Iran hit a cargo ship.
Yep, just happened.
Wait, when did this happen?
Yeah, Trump announced that like the strait was open, but then wasn't open, and then Trump said he wouldn't lift the blockade on Iran, and Iran's like, well, we're not going to open the strait then, and now it's back to hot war, at least in the strait area.
Like right now? Are you serious?
Yeah, we're looking at. Let me see. Yeah, ships in the Strait of Hormuz are turning back as two are said to be hit. That was published 4 hours ago. And then 7 hours ago, British military said a container vessel was attacked.
Oh, wow. The market's not open, though, right? The strait, I don't really care about the strait being open or closed as long as the markets are open. We have about 50,000 barrels of crude underneath our patio at the house in St. Clair.
I thought the Dow was above 50,000. Are we getting the numbers confused?
No, I said 50,000 barrels of crude oil. We're not quoting Pam Bondi in this household. She did not play ball. She did not play ball.
What is her job now? They like reassigned her to something because you can never fire.
I don't know. She's always been trailer trash. She's always been trailer trash. And I told President Trump that he should listen to me and Chuck and get Bill Barr back in there, because Bill Barr is solid. He's pure DC swamp stock. His father owned a prep school. I don't want to get into Bill Barr. I don't want to talk about Bill Barr. He's a dear friend of mine. Dear friend. Dear friend. Let's see. What do we got here? We got some, leave you Mish voter alone. Okay. He told you. Oh, totally disagree. Okay. All right. Lindsey Boylan. Oh, God, I hate this guy, Harry Enton. Every time I see him. Oh. What is this? Bill banning member of Congress from ever becoming lobbyists. 0 Republicans are supporting the bill. Well, of course not. They don't need to become lobbyists. If you're a Republican, they put the money right in your pockets. The Democrats are the ones that take the bank shot.
Well, they're the ones who are supporting the bill. The
What's
Democrats.
that?
Well, it looks like the Democrats might be doing a good thing right now, man. We're supporting the bill to ban them from becoming lobbyists, right? Like, that's sort of like a positive.
Well, I hope Jackie Rosen doesn't sign on to it, because if she doesn't become a lobbyist, I don't know how she's going to make a living in retirement. She's going to start an OnlyFans. Jackie Rosen has been asking me for a lobbying at Defense Con. She wants to be the next Kristen Sinema. What are you going to do? Fire Kristen Sinema? Kristen Sinema is dynamite. Dynamite. Opening up AI data centers in the middle of the desert. Do you know how hard it is to do a job like that? Kristen Sinema has got the right stuff. She is everything that a politician should be. Serves her country in Congress by not doing anything. Thank you, Kristen. And then she's rewarded for her efforts by taking money from the same people that got her elected in a private job. She flew around in private jets for the government, which was fantastic for her. She had never been exposed to that kind of the trappings of wealth. And now she's in a position where she can continue to fly around in private jets and advocate for the wealthy. I mean, this is the pipeline.
I mean, maybe there's something to be said for rebranding private jets as like a popular young hip thing. You know, everyone loves Taylor Swift, and she has a private jet that does a lot of pollution, allegedly. Maybe there's like an angle for you in there. I don't know. So,
I've been telling Taylor to do a live stream of the 15-minute jet rides on the from the Palisades to Santa Monica or whatever, and she says that it makes her look like Marie Antoinette. And I say, Taylor, listen, you know, if you're going to increase the carbon footprint, you might as well get some free publicity out of it. I mean, you're not paying me to give you bad advice. I give people good advice. I mean, I'm the one who told. Do you see that man in the corner of my conference room? Do you see him on Time Magazine? Do you see that? That's Chuck Schumer. You know how he got on Time Magazine?
Bribes?
No, not bribes. Of course not. We would never bribe anybody at Time. He got on Time Magazine because people said, we need to fight back against this administration. And Chuck said, how do I fight back? How do I fight back against this administration? I said, Chuck, it's very easy. You sit down, pen and paper, you write a strongly worded letter. You put it in the mail. It's going to take 5 to 7 days because we've allowed for the privatization and defenestration of the public mail. In 5 to 7 days, the president is going to open the letter. He can't read, so he won't do anything. The voters will think that you have put your foot down. And we're gonna look like the heroes. Time Magazine cover. Chuck Schumer, hero of the American people. My dear friend. Can't fall for it or make a copy.
Look, maybe some people are being unfair when they say strongly worded letters don't do anything. You know, I heard that some of the people that were really angry at the Dems, like a lot of like content creators and organizations, they formed a group and they started sending a lot of angry letters to Chuck Schumer and the other Democrats. And I guess, like, you know, maybe they actually believe in the power of strongly worded letters that Chuck Schumer does, because they ended up not funding DHS like they were told to in those letters. So, you know, maybe some people, maybe there is some ability to put pressure on people with strongly worded letters, but it's just, you got to do that to the Dems. You got to do that to the individual representatives. But when like a congressperson does it, you know, it doesn't really do much because they have other options. But, you know, like the average person, the average Joe, if they come together and they start pressuring and threatening their representatives to do what they want or else they'll vote them out, sometimes that makes people move mountains. So maybe there's some truth to that. You know what I mean?
You sound like God. What are we in? Haight-Ashbury? Yeah, I mean, that was because we had to do something. I mean, it was awful. I mean, we had to, the thing that I'm glad the voters don't realize. And by the way, if you're in the chat right now, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we have put together a voters guide of candidates that you should avoid. I told my grandson to do it, and he put candidates together that suck. Let's see here. I'm gonna star that, put that up. We're gonna show that. That's my grandson Connor put a voter's guide together for candidates that don't suck. So you can click on that. And yeah, well, I think Connor, you're right that thank God the American people don't know that we would fold just as hard if they put pressure on the Democratic Party as we do to the fascists, because they're good for business. If the American people knew how fast we would fold if we got enough pressure, we would be in huge problems. But luckily, they like their Seinfeld, they like their hot cocoa, they like bonbons, and they like going to the beach every Saturday because they can afford to. I mean, I know that the average American makes $25,000-$30,000 a year. They have a second home in Saskatchewan or wherever, and they just want to get by. They're getting by. They don't care about the inner workings of government or procedure. If we're going to war, they support us. Red, white, and blue. John Wayne, Jesus Christ. These are the things that make this country great. And sure, John Wayne was a snitch. He never fought in a war. Everybody says that, but it doesn't matter. Do you see the way he looked and the characters he portrayed on TV and the movies?
I mean, I don't know, man. My generation, we mostly consume movies through Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts at this point.
That's disgusting.
Look, it's you guys haven't really regulated the social media, right? Like everything, it's designed to be as addictive as possible, so everyone can make the most money.
Hey, you know what? Listen, kid. I told everybody to let Big Tobacco go. I thought Big Tobacco was doing a public service because anytime anybody got nervous, they would reach for a pack and a light. Okay. And nowadays, they don't do that. And instead, they pick up their phone. What's the difference? I mean, come on. We had to do something. We had to do something. We had to do something about Big Tobacco.
At least the cigarettes are like more pro-social, in some sense. I kind of agree with you here.
It's called social media.
Right. Well, no, but it's not really social media because like you watch it from your phones, right? And then it just shows you all the worst things happening in the world and gives you a bunch of misinformation and tries to get you to vote for like Nazis or moderates, instead of actually trying to convince you, instead of giving people an opportunity to try to connect on a person-to-person level and try to convince you through, for example, actually accurate information and debates and trying to set aside your differences and come to some sort of better future for the world. But then again, at the same time, people like, and my computer's falling over, it also gives the opportunity to people that, progressive candidates and leftists to break in for the first time. So maybe there's some upsides too, that cigarettes can't give you, unless Mom Donnie's going to advertise himself in the back of like the Camels, which would be really funny, to be honest. Maybe we could get him to do that for Liquid Death, like the cool edgy water, like get a candidate to be on the back of that and be like, look, you should vote for me. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't because my Big Tobacco clients are wiped out. They can't advertise anything except anti-smoking ads. I swear to God, you're becoming more and more like Jane Fonda every day.
Jane Fonda?
Yeah, if you don't get a haircut soon, I'm gonna send you back to boarding school in Helsinki. That'll straighten it out.
They all had longer hair than I did.
I know they did. They're beautiful people. They have that beautiful blonde hair out there in Finland.
Actually, yeah, I had a question for you. You're talking a lot about candidates and stuff, and I was curious what you think about the whole California governor stuff.
Well, I told you Eric Swallow's a pig.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, like the other guys, right? Like there's.
Oh Jesus! Whew. Now I think, I think that Katie Porter treats her help. Katie Porter treats her help exactly the way that a lot of establishments candidates used to treat their help. And that I kind of like that. If somebody's in my shot right now, I'm gonna throw I'm going to throw a hat at him. If you're in my shot, get out of my shot. I like Katie Porter. You can tell a lot about the way people treat their staff. Who I don't like is I don't like Tom Steyer. He is a class traitor, and he should have been a billionaire like one of us. He should have been
He is a billionaire.
I know he's a billionaire, but he wants to raise taxes. So he can't be a billionaire if he wants to raise taxes. That is not a true billionaire. The same way that you are anti-Semitic, even if you are Jewish and are an anti-Zionist. That's the way it works. We are conflating people that say tax the rich, even if they're billionaires that want to tax the rich. You are anti-wealth. You are not a billionaire. You are not a billionaire.
Like, he's pro-Cal Care, which is Medicare for all for California. He wants to abolish ICE. He wants to ban fossil fuel and corporate
Don't say abolish ICE on our stream. You mean reform ICE?
Well, I'm saying what he says, man. And he wants to institute the billionaire tax. He wants to end the commercial property tax loophole. And he is the only one who said that Israel's committing war crimes. I mean, Katie Porter also supports Cal Care, also supports abolishing ICE, and also supports banning fossil fuel and corporate money in politics.
Actually, she doesn't. I don't think she. No, that's why I like her. Let's see what she said here. I think she said, I want to abolish cooperation with the state of California and ICE, which I really like because that means that she's. Oh, here we go. The day I take office, we abolish state cooperation with ICE. We protect our neighbors and keep. ICE makes us less safe. And as governor, I will treat the protection of every California as my most important job. That means rejecting federal overreach and ensuring our infrastructure serves our communities, not a horrific deportation agenda. I don't know why everybody insists on taking. Here we go. You Michigan voter, this guy. You know, he's on the payroll, but Jesus, he whiny.
I mean, the guy a lot of the establishment candidates and influencers seem to be supporting is Becerra. He doesn't support Cal Care or abolishing ICE or banning fossil fuel or corporate money in politics or the billionaire tax, although he does support raising taxes on the wealthy in general, though he hasn't given any ways to do that. He also doesn't support ending the commercial property tax loophole or say that Israel is committing genocide or war crimes. None of the candidates are out there saying Israel is committing genocide, but the Steyer at least is out there saying that they're committing war crimes and that they should be stopped and that the settlements in the West Bank should end and that we shouldn't be supporting a nation that is doing that. So right now it seems like Steyer is the most progressive candidate, and then Tony Thurmond sort of right behind him, with Katie Porter being kind of in the middle compared to the other ones. Then all the rest of them are a lot more moderate or conservative. I kind of thought you'd like that Matt Mahan guy, though. He's the one that the Free Press loves, and he's the one that some of the police groups and even some conservatives are supporting. He's very reaching across the aisle, between Barry Weiss on one side and Sam Harris on the other.
Oh, wow. I like Barry Weiss. Here, speaking of Barry Weiss, let's do Bill Maher. How about Bill Maher? He's funny.
They're pretty similar people.
The Senate rejected a measure to block the sale of military equipment to Israel. I wouldn't know what that means unless I stopped and thought about it. What it means is this is a Democratic idea. This is Bernie Sanders. This is the Democrats wanting to stop. And this is not charity to Israel. This is the sale of military equipment. This is the Democrats saying we're not going to sell Israel any more military equipment. 7 Democrats joined the Republicans.
I swear to God, if this guy, if he's about to come out against giving our allies weapons, I'm going to lose my shit.
Hey, it's Bill Maher, man. He's usually on your side.
I know he is. That's why I love him. That's why he was at your christening. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's who that guy was.
That's who he was. Yeah, kid.
I've been in therapy for years after looking at that guy.
Oh, God.
He's just uncomfortable, What's he going to say?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm building up all the tension.
In shooting this down. So Israel has 7 Democratic allies left in the Senate.
Well, first of all, it's not just Bernie Sanders. As you note, it's 40 Democrats who voted for this. And basically
That's
what
right.
they said
only 7 allies.
Was pretty straightforward. And I talked to a number of them before the vote. I think they did the right thing. Why? Because the president of the United States.
Jesus, this guy worked for Biden?
Jake Sullivan?
He worked for Biden and they did the right thing by not sending? Who did the right thing?
It's those 40 Democrats.
The 40.
What?
Yeah, because the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel brought the United States into a war that basically was misbegotten from the beginning, which cost American credibility, cost American lives, and cost American families at the gas pump. And basically,
Straighten him out, Ron. Straighten him out.
those Democrats shouldn't vote for anything that supports that war, including more weapons to Israel. I think that's just a basic proposition. If you are not wanting to support the U.S. and Israel continuing the war in Iran, you shouldn't be voting to send more weapons to Israel. I think that is the right approach for those 40 Democrats to take.
Well, I see why Biden lost.
It seems like Bill Maher is still on your side, but that Jake Sullivan guy calling for an arms embargo of Israel, that's a big step, you know? That's a former Biden staffer, and not exactly like a super duper progressive one. That guy's national security advisor. That's like the foreign blob.
Oh, God. What happened? Hang on a second.
Your webcam went wild.
I know
Maybe
it did.
Maybe the shock of Jake Sullivan betraying you.
It was a shock of Jake Sullivan. He used to be a good guy. He owes everything.
I mean, he was always pretty good on Ukraine, you know, talking about how we need to fight against like the Russian fascists and stuff. So maybe it's not that shocking, you know, in its own way. It seems like Democratic consultants been taken off the air, probably breaking some things in response to finding out that his buddy, Jake Sullivan, has betrayed him. Granted, again, you know, it seems like if you had, and look, I this is just what I learned at the boarding school, but it seems like if you oppose someone like Vladimir Putin, who's invading Ukraine for no good reason, trying to attack the sovereignty of another group of people who should have their own rights, and is talking about blood and soil, then you would also oppose other people like Benjamin Netanyahu who do the exact same thing, which is why in James Gunn's Superman that there was a guy who was like a mixture of Vladimir Putin, Netanyahu, and Sebastian Milosevic from the Balkan crises and after the fall of Yugoslavia in the 90s, sort of combining all these genocidal warmongers into the same person. And then Hawkgirl throws him from the sky into the streets, presumably killing him. And of course, James Gunn, the producer, would never admit to that, but James Gunn, the writer, was pretty clear on what he was doing there. And so it kind of makes sense that there's some sort of like moral equivalency happening there. But also, again, this is just what I learned from the boarding school, and I should probably defer to my grandpa, who's much more wiser in the ways of politics and morality than I am.
No, I found that fascinating. I'm also deeply disappointed in James Gunn. What a son of a bitch he's become. He's the Jake Sullivan of Hollywood.
I mean, he had the whole Putin Yahoo, right? Like the throwing Putin Yahoo from the sky.
Yeah, I know. I saw that movie. I thought he was referring to Bernie Sanders with that character. I thought that was an attack on Bernie Sanders with that character.
That seems like kind of an anti-Semitic assumption, not gonna lie.
No, it just he had the hairline of Bernie Sanders. What are you talking about?
He has really long hair. He looked nothing like Bernie Sanders. If anything, he looked more
he
like
was bald like me on top. Don't accuse me of being an anti-Semite.
I mean, some people are anti-Semitic and pro-Israel, you know? Like, there's like the Nazis who can't decide if they hate brown people or Jews more.
God.
Like, it's possible. I'm not saying it's you, you know? You clearly, you know, like, you know, if many things, you're just, I would say you're more Zionist than you are anything else. But there's some people out there who, like, you know, they're trying to use Israel as a pawn to bring about the end times. And they're trying to sacrifice them to Satan, basically. And like that's kind of horrifying.
Wait, tell me more. What are you talking about?
Oh, like, you know, like they're, you know, like how on the Democratic side, like there's a debate about whether or not, like, who are the people being oppressed here? Is it the Jews because of everything they went through over thousands of years? Or is the Palestinians who are being treated by the Israelis the same way that Jewish people have been treated for thousands of years? But and there's a bit of a moral debate about who we're supposed to side with, right? And obviously, there's a right answer and a wrong answer there. But like,
yeah, we won.
You know, like at least there's a debate. But then on the Republican side, it's more a matter of like, well, some people it's about who they hate more. Some people, they're just in favor of the military industrial complex and want to just give Israel more money. But then some people see it as like this grand strategy to bring about this like end times revelation prophecy about how with the, you know, once Israel is its own nation again, then it can make a deal with the Antichrist, thus ushering in about the end of the world. And then they don't have to worry about things like climate change or the consequences of their own actions. because then they'll be in heaven, and everyone else who has the gall to dye their hair or have a nose ring or love someone of the same gender, all of them are in hell, right? Like that's sort of like the basic idea. Now, like again, like I was in Helsinki and the translations were a little funky, so maybe I'm wrong here, but it kind of seemed like everything in those books was about like the Roman Empire thousands of years ago, and if anything, warning us about how there's like other evil leaders like Caesar, like Nero, who was probably about, like this Donald Trump guy who runs an imperial senate based off of the Roman system in many ways, is playing into a lot of the notions of like a red Caesar, and is amongst other things threatening the leader of the largest church in the entire world, calling him weak on crime and bad for foreign policy, and his vice president.
He's awful. He's anti-war. What kind of a pope is anti-war?
Apparently all the popes over 1,000 years, if anything, they're like too anti-war.
Not Pope Pius. He was pro Mussolini.
He actually was also anti-war, just anti-war in a bad way. He was anti-fighting the bad guys.
Jesus.
Like some people say that like a lot of people talk about being anti-war, right? Like a lot of people are like, we're against the war in Palestine, we're against the war in Gaza. But some people are actually pro the war just from the other side. They think we should be fighting for the Palestinians, who are the ones that they would argue are being oppressed. So, there's always a lot of different perspectives, right? Because some people are going to be like, well, we should do the right thing and we should help people who are being oppressed, but we shouldn't lay up arms against them, like a lot of abolitionists before the Civil War. But then you also have guys like John Brown who are like, God is calling me to do the right thing, and the right thing is to fight my enemies and fight the oppressors. I mean, he did get executed for it, right? He was hung. But according to John Brown's Body, which is the precursor Battle Hymn of the Republic, which probably is America's real national anthem, it's they hung him for a traitor, but they themselves the traitor's crew, and his soul is marching on. John Brown's body lies moldering in the grave. And there's something really beautiful about that, about the notion that when it comes down to it, we're supposed to be coming at things with a peaceful lens, with defending other people, but only when it's time to defend another person or yourself from a real oppressor, from someone like Putin or Netanyahu, that then and only then, when it's viable to and when it creates more good than harm to stand up, then you stand up. And if anything, that's probably what the Pope was getting at, with the notion that the church is only on the side of people who raise the sword when they have no other option, and all other cases. Of course, then J.D. Vance, who's a sad, sad little man. I think you and I can both agree on that. His guy is really embarrassing for a politician.
I like Peter. I don't know what he saw in that guy. I can't believe you actually believe all this stuff. I sent you to boarding school so that you would get a sense that you're better than everybody, but it sounds like to me the socialists ruined my grandson.
I mean, a lot of these people were liberals in the initial sense. I don't think John Brown was a socialist. I think he was just a progressive. I think he just loved people. So did Lincoln in his own way. It just took him more time to get there. And even then, he said some weird, questionable things. But sometimes you have to make those compromises, The same way that, like, you're making that compromise because even though Mallory Morrow would be a lot more progressive than who you want, you're making that compromise because you're a lot more scared of Abdul El Sayed.
Terrifying.
But now, of course, if someone...
I'm not afraid of Syed. I'm afraid of Medicare for all.
Well, yeah, but you're afraid of the people who want to make Medicare for all happen, and a hot doctor who's going to make it happen. Is pretty terrifying, right?
Yeah, I don't like him.
No.
All right, listen. Your grandmother is telling me I got to get off the computer. I had fun today with you, grandson. And even though I think your politics are infected with Mamdani, I think we'll just keep you in the lobby. I'll talk to Core Civic and see if we can't get you in with the private prison guys. That'll move you to the right. Have you been in this chat this whole time? Thank you so much. We've had so much fun. I love the social medias. I live alone. I have cats, but they don't talk back to me. Not like my wives used to. So thank you for making an old man's heart a little more full. Too bad I don't have a heart. All right. So we will see you again tomorrow. I don't know if my grandson's going to join me, but I will definitely be back on stream. And thank you. I'm going to do a quick outro video here. Outro video. Timer. End stream.